We are in a place where light cannot reach, where pressure crushes steel. This is the Mariana Trench, at the darkest point of our planet. There is not only silence here, hidden life forms, unseen forces, and now a new player. China managed to descend 11 kilometers deep, but the question isn't how did they get there? The real question is, why now, and what did they find there? The Mariana Trench. Light cannot reach here, steel deforms here. This is the Mariana Trench, the deepest and darkest point of our world. And now, the sound of motors can be heard in this deep darkness. In November 2020, a 3-person team began descending to the bottom of the ocean. There was unique pressure, freezing cold, and complete darkness. This deep-sea vehicle named Fendouzhe, meaning striver or warrior in Chinese, slowly began descending to a depth of 10,190 meters. This is the Challenger Deep, the deepest place human feet have touched. On that day, the Chinese flag met this ground for the first time. But this wasn't just a record. It was also the first live broadcast from the deepest point in human history. China's Fendouzhe has descended to the Challenger Deep 336 times since 2020. An exploration that was once made once in generations has now become an ordinary event. But the question that comes to mind is this: why is such a thing happening right now? What kind of discoveries have they made? Inside Fendouzhe, there is a 1.8-meter titanium alloy sphere. The walls of this sphere were made to withstand a pressure of 1,000 atmospheres, equivalent to the weight of 90 elephants per square centimeter. Unlike traditional vehicles, this sphere operates with a real-time acoustic modem. It can transmit text, sound, and even images from a depth of 36,000 feet. Scientists on land can communicate by saying, "Pull that rock." Thanks to lithium batteries and an advanced ballast system, it can descend for 3 hours, explore for 6 hours, and ascend for 3 hours each day. Biological discoveries. 2024, Shanghai Jiaotong University's MIR project conducted examinations on 1,600 mud samples. Of the 7,564 microbe species detected, 89% were previously unknown. They carry genes that produce enzymes suitable for high pressure. Not just bacteria. Severe virus belonging to a new virus family at 8,000 meters was found. This is the virus isolated from the deepest underground place in the world. The food chain is also effective here, as huge whale carcasses fall to the depths. They create the beginning of a feast that lasts for years in the deep. In 2019, scientists examined the stomachs of small crabs, amphipods obtained from the trench. At least one microplastic fiber was found in each. Threads breaking off from synthetic clothes reached a depth of 11,000 meters after a long journey and entered the food chain. The Mariana Trench has turned into a kind of garbage trap. Besides carrying scientific instruments, Fendouzhe also has acoustic sensors placed at the bottom of the ABD base in Guam. China states they will use these to monitor earthquakes and whales, but a hydrophone at a depth of 11 kilometers can detect even the periscope sounds of submarines. In 2025, China introduced a device that can cut fiber optic cables at a depth of 4,000 meters. 95% of the world's data traffic passes through these undersea cables. The Mariana Trench has now become the center not only of science but also of strategy. Along with the new life forms discovered here, control mechanisms extending from the deep to the surface will also shape humanity's future. The question is this: will the legacy we leave to future generations be a new form of life, or the ability to cut underwater communication? Fendouzhe, which became operational in 2021, has dived into deep waters exactly 336 times since that day. Think about it. Until 2019, the number of people visiting these depths was no more than 10. A discovery that could happen once in every generation has now become almost ordinary. So, what is the reason for this change? And most importantly, why is China making such a huge investment in this desolate place right now? Titanium sphere and 1,000 atmospheres. At the center of Fendouzhe is a large titanium metal sphere with a diameter of 1.8 meters. This sphere was specially made to withstand a pressure of 1,000 atmospheres, a force bearing the weight of 90 adult elephants per square centimeter. The wall thickness was adjusted with precise calculations to ensure the equal distribution of pressure. Even a small structural flaw could lead to a major accident. Inside, a pilot and 2 scientists survive in the dense darkness outside. But durability alone is not enough. The most important feature that distinguishes Fendouzhe from previous deep-sea vehicles is its communication capability. Usually, because radio waves cannot be transmitted underwater, deep-sea vehicles must either be connected or operate completely independently. However, the new generation deep-sea acoustic modems developed by the Chinese Academy of Sciences Acoustics Institute changed this situation. Another feature that makes Fendouzhe effective is its operational efficiency. Thanks to powerful lithium-ion batteries and an improved ballast system, the vehicle has the capacity to perform 1 dive per day. A typical mission profile is as follows: 3 hours descent, 6 hours bottom exploration, and 3 hours ascent. While older generation vehicles required weeks of maintenance after a deep dive, Fendouzhe can perform consecutive missions as long as weather conditions are suitable. Robotic arms at the front, scientific baskets that can carry up to 220 kilograms, high-resolution cameras, and sonar that provides forward-looking imaging allow the vehicle not only to show presence, but also to conduct active scientific research. The sonar provides the ability to see in the dark, enabling safe passage through complex canyons. This system, developed by the Public Advanced Research Institute, tracks the vehicle's movement relative to the ground precisely, at the limit of life, microbes and viruses. So what is found in this harsh environment? The first answer, life itself. For many years, scientists thought the Mariana Trench was sterile or extremely unproductive. It was assumed that proteins could not withstand 1,000 atmospheres of pressure, and enzymes would lose function. But the reality was much more surprising. The Mayar Environment and Ecology Research Project, MIR, conducted by Shanghai Jiaotong University and the Institute of Deep Sea Science and Engineering, IDSSE in Sanya, managed to collect more than 1,600 mud samples from depths of $20,000 to 36,000 feet by 2024. The results of the analyses were incredible. 7,564 microbial species were detected, and 89% of them, nearly 8 out of 9, were completely new species with no previous record in the scientific world. This is not just a simple discovery. It means a hidden branch of the biosphere is coming to light. These microbes have developed extraordinary innovations to sustain their lives in endless darkness and high pressure. They have special genes that produce pressure-resistant enzymes. They have created unique molecular structures that strengthen cell membranes. Even a spoonful of mud contains thousands of new life forms, and some offer opportunities for drug production. Creatures that develop in conditions that could be toxic to the human body also carry potential to provide new solutions regarding antibiotic resistance. But bacteria are not fighting alone. In 2023, Chinese virologists at the Mariana Institute of Technology found an entirely new virus at a depth of 8,800 meters, VBHME H4907. This was recorded as the first virus isolated from the deepest point of the ocean. Its target is Halomonas bacteria found in deep-sea sediments. Because this virus was quite different from others, scientists named it severe and reported the necessity of creating a new viral family. This virus's strategy is also quite interesting. It doesn't immediately destroy its host, the bacterium. After settling into its DNA, it grows silently as the bacterium divides. This is a survival tactic in harsh environmental conditions. Instead of consuming the food source immediately, it waits like a patient hunter. Genetic examinations reveal that this virus has spread with its relatives throughout the ocean, especially in deep waters. So the isolated sample in the Mariana is not a coincidence. It is part of a widespread and hidden viral network worldwide. Whalefall, food in the deep. Because life in these depths is rather inadequate in terms of food, It largely depends on organic particles falling from above. However, sometimes a major event occurs, a whale fall. When a 30-meter-long, 40-ton blue whale dies, its massive body slowly sinks to 11,000 meters. This is the transformation of a great resource for the depths. Observations made at Davidson Seamount off the coast of California, not Mariana but a reference for similar deep-sea environments, showed the dramatic nature of this process. When a 5-meter-long skeleton, still with fat tissues and internal organs, reaches the bottom, a huge ecosystem mobilizes within a short time. Waiting sharks and eels immediately appear. Young eels feed on the spilled fats, while crustaceans scrape soft tissues. Weeks later, pink-haired Osedax worms that wrap around bones and digest fats burst from the bones. A single whale carcass creates an oasis in this desolate environment that lasts for decades. New species dependent only on this situation are discovered here: mollusks, snails, and special bacteria. Human traces, the microplastic threat. But the Mariana Trench is not only the address of natural miracles, it is also a place where humanity proves its presence, even in the most remote locations. In 2019, a study led by deep-sea researcher Alan Jameson presented a sad reality. When the stomachs of amphipods, small crab-like invertebrates taken from the Challenger Deep, were examined, at least one microplastic particle was found in each. Fibers breaking off from synthetic fabrics and particles separating from plastic bottles sank to a depth of 11 kilometers after a years-long journey, reaching the lowest link in the food chain. This finding was surprising. Microplastic was detected in 72% of samples collected from other Pacific trenches. This rate is equivalent to the pollution levels observed in organisms from densely populated coastal regions. The deepest point in the world is as polluted as the Istanbul Bosphorus or New York Harbor. How did this happen? The oceans are an interconnected system. Microplastics are carried by currents, grow over time, and sinking particles accumulate in the Mariana, the lowest point in the world, like a garbage trap. A diver who visited the Challenger Deep in 2019 also reported seeing a plastic bag 7 meters above the bottom sediment. The ecological consequences of this situation are great. Amphipod species are food for snailfish and other predators. Plastic materials move up the food chain, carrying harmful chemicals and disrupting feeding processes. Additionally, deep-sea sediments are known as one of the world's largest carbon stores. How plastic mixing into these sediments will affect carbon storage methods is not yet clear. Strategic depth, geopolitical, and military dimension. Beyond all these scientific discoveries, the Mariana Trench is also becoming a geopolitical arena. Especially China's movements in the region are too significant to be explained solely by scientific interest. A few years ago, it was revealed that China had placed powerful acoustic listening devices around the important ABD military base near Guam, including the Challenger Deep. Beijing claims these devices will be used only for earthquakes, typhoons, and whale observations. However, security experts note that these devices can also be used to track submarine movements and disrupt underwater communication. A hydrophone at a depth of 11 kilometers can hear submarine propeller sounds or sonar signals from distant ranges. Because sound waves propagate effectively in deep waters, these sensors can create a listening network over a large part of the Western Pacific. But the issue is not limited to listening. The deep seabed is quite rich in polymetallic nodules and rare earth elements. China is developing deep-sea mining technologies in cooperation with the International Seabed Authority. The Mariana Trench is in international waters, and although resources are tied to international agreements, this situation does not affect the race to explore the region and claim rights in nearby deep-sea areas. In 2025, Chinese scientists introduced a much more concerning device, a cable-cutting tool that can operate at a depth of 4,000 meters and can be attached to vehicles like Fendouzhe. This device can cut even the thickest fiber optic communication or power cables. Officially, it is said that this was developed for civil cable recovery or construction projects, but its strategic potential is quite clear. 95% of the world's data traffic passes through these undersea cables. In case of a conflict, a country's communication and economy could be affected from the depths with this device. The demonstration of this capability is perceived as a kind of deterrence purpose or show of force. Endless cycle, 336. Descents and then, fa. The 336 dives made by Fendouzhe since 2020 have created a huge data accumulation. DNA sequences, high-resolution maps, geological samples, and water chemistry profiles. But most importantly, the proven reliability of these vehicles enables more ambitious projects to be realized. There are plans to develop autonomous deep-sea landing vehicles and robots based on Fendouze's design. If autonomous machines can patrol the ocean floor 7/24, this indicates a monitoring and data collection capacity more effective than even satellite technologies. In these depths where scientific curiosity intertwines with strategic plans and the delicate balance of life with geopolitical conflicts, humanity is perhaps creating the first example of its own future. Either we will learn to reach new species and protect them, or we will develop and perfect the tools to dominate the surface from underground. The decision is still on the surface for now. However, time is advancing silently in the darkness 11 kilometers deep.